All right, in the next part, we're going to do a couple more problems, just a little bit more examples. There's a couple different ways of solving these problems where we have some sort of a percentage of something equals what number. We're trying to figure out what that number might be or whatever the situation is. And so potentially there's three different versions. I can only kind of think of two. At least these are the approaches that I have. Either I'm setting it up as a proportion where I have a percent over 100 equals part over whole, and then you can cross multiply because you'll only be missing one piece. Or I can just take this and write it as an equation. I kind of favor that route, at least personally, but it doesn't matter. You're going to get the exact same result regardless of which route you take. So let me kind of go through the problem. First thing is if I am going to use the equation style, the 20% I do need to turn into a decimal. So 20% is 0.2. Okay. Of 400, the word of represents multiplication. So of 400, I'm going to be multiplying those together, is equals, and what number is, I don't know. And then multiply this together. So if I throw this into a calculator where I got 0.2 times 400, I'm going to get 80. And that's it. Throw that in a calculator, and I have my value. So 20% of 400 is us multiplying those two things together, and it is 80. All right, so now we have similar values. Here's the 20%, here's the 80. So same kind of a question. And let me just show you kind of the setup for it. So 20% of what number? 0.2 of what number means times an unknown is 80 equals 80. And then here we want to undo this multiplication. So we're going to divide by 0.2, divide by 0.2. And if we throw that into a calculator, 80 divided by 0.2 is going to get us 400, which is that value right there. Okay, so it's really just kind of set up, making sure you're comfortable with the different looks of it. Okay, so let's do two more of those, and then we'll have some word problems to kind of go through. So we have 80 is what percent of 400? So 80 is what percent? We don't know. Okay, now right now it's not going to be in a percentage. When you write an equation, it's always the decimal version of it. So is what percent of 400? Of 400. Those two are going to be multiplied together. We need to do undo multiplication with division. Okay, so if we throw that into a calculator, let's take 80. 80 divided by 400, and that's going to get us 0.2. Okay, so, but that's not your percentage. So you got 0.2, which is great, but you need to turn 0.2 turns into 20%. Okay, so it's really the same question as the other two, just kind of asking for a different piece. All right, 48 is what percent of 24? So 48 is what percent of 24? Divide by 24, divide by 24 to get x by itself. 48 divided by 24 is 2. But that's not a percent still, even though that still, it feels fine because it's not a decimal, but that's not a percent. And so we have to make that, let me write it a little different, x equals 2, which we would be bumping the decimal over 2 spots to the right, or multiplying by 100, and that's going to be 200%. Okay, so 48 is 200% of 24 because you're doubling it. Okay. All right, so word problems. So same type of stuff. We just kind of have to pull the information out of it. Okay, it's just not as straightforward as these. So it says during one special day sale, 600 customers bought the on-sale pizza. Of these customers, 20% used coupons. The manager will run the sale again on the next day if more than 100 coupons were used. Okay, so 20% of, so I'm reading that, 20% of 600 used coupons. Okay, so if that's the case, I have 0.2, because that is the decimal version of 20. Of is going to be multiplication. All right, so if we throw that into the calculator, that's going to get us 120. And they're saying that, all right, we'll do the deal again if 100 coupons were used, and there's actually 120. So should she run the sale again? Yes. 120 coupons were used. Okay, so a little bit of percentages. All right, so let's go to the next one. We got Stan is setting aside 15% of his weekly income for rent. If he sets aside $150 each week, what is his weekly income? So right here, it's 15% of weekly income for rent, and they're setting aside, so for rent, and that money that is set aside is $150, is the way to kind of pull that together. So you have 15%, 0.15 of your weekly income, we don't know, multiplied together is going to equal 150. Okay, so to get x by itself, we divide by 0.15, divide by 0.15, and calculator is going to give us $1,000. So how much is their weekly income? $1,000 per week. And of that $1,000, $150 is set aside for rent. All right, so your rent is roughly $600 a month. All right, two more. So on this one, we have a 5% sales tax is levied on an order of a building supplies, or a building supplies costing $127.32. What is the amount of sales tax to be paid? And then what is the total bill? So here's your cost. You're getting a sales tax added on to that. So we want to know what is the sales tax. So we're looking at 5% of 127.32. Okay, so 5% is 0.05, not 0.5. 0.5 would be 50%. So it's a sales tax of 5% of the 127.32. Okay, so if we throw that in the calculator, we have 0.05 times 127.32. Okay, so 6.366. Now it is money. So since it's money, we need to round to 2 decimal places. So that 6 is going to bump that up. So our tax is $6.37 in tax. All right. What's the total bill? Total bill is, here's what we were charging, but then here's the tax going to be added onto it. So our total bill is going to equal 127.32 plus the 637, and that makes $133. Again, this is something I just would have thrown into the calculator. 133.69. Okay, so that's our actual cost. All right, one last. So we have a salesperson is earning a salary of $325 per week, plus an 8% commission on all sales over $2,500. Okay, the sales during 1 week was this amount, $48.75, which is over $2,500. So we're going to get some commission added on to our check. What's the total pay for that week? Okay, so kind of make sure that we understand that our commission that we are going to earn, okay, is going to be of over 2,500. It's got to be over. All right, so what amount is that? Well, 8% is going to be, what we need to know is the over part. So a little side note here. The over. The over was we sold 48.75, but we got to subtract out the $2,500. Right, the $2,500 is we don't get commission on that amount. We get commission on what's over that amount. So if we subtract these two, that's going to make $23.75. So that's the amount that we get our bonus. We get a commission on. So we're at 8%, 08, of what was over the 2,500, which is 23.75. So if you throw that into the calculator, that gets you $190 extra, okay, for that week. So we have a normal salary of $325. So what's the total pay? Total pay is $325, which is our normal salary, plus an extra $190 for our commission. Okay, so that's your base, that's your commission. And if you throw that into a calculator, you're going to get $515 for the week. All right, and that was some word problems and some other problems involving percentages.